Good afternoon, I guess it is now. Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to 22 Panels. My guests today are the writer and editor on a fantastic comic called Before We Sail that is part of David Lloyd's Aces Weekly, an online digital subscription model that looks really cool. And I'm going to have to reach out to David Lloyd at some point too to just talk about it more because I'm kind of frustrated that it's been around for 75 volumes and I'm just hearing about it because it feels like I am totally who it was made for. So the writer in question is Carlos Yacolca. Did I spell?
Yeah,
Did I?
exactly.
Okay. And the editor is Alberto Rayo. Rayo,
Rayo.
Rayo. Okay.
Yes.
I'll
Like me.
try. I'll probably stick to Alberto, but
All right.
I'm a teacher. We try to take pronouncing names really seriously, but like one of the things that I will hide behind from time to time is like your tongue gets associated to certain sounds and it makes making other sounds much harder.
Yeah. It's how the brain works and how the language works.
Right,
It's
right.
normal.
So, which one of you wants to introduce the book?
Well, Rayo, do the honors.
He's pointing to you.
All
Carlos,
right.
you're up.
So,
Tell me
ahora.
about the story.
Oh, well, before, we sell is my presentation as a, s- as a first work and also as a writer, as a comic writer. That comic was in in the kitchen for about 3 years in my
Okay.
presentation. Yeah, in my presentation of myself and also of Michelino, my artist. And well, about the story, have two layers really, as Alberto Rayo always says. The first layers is about this apocalyptical zombie story, and the second layer is about a very analytical and is the exactly way of see all these psychological elements is to make a treatment about seeing how this person is a psych are in this dead war.
Yeah, how
Well,
how they respond to the situation they're in. I mean
yeah,
the go ahead, Alberto.
I always say that every story or at least every good story is actually two stories. The
Right.
above story and the below story.
No story.
The above story is like, let's take an example. Uh, so, how do you call Jurassic Park? All right. Jurassic Park, above story, dinosaurs, park, like going to open a park to see dinosaurs and things wrong. That's the above story. The below story, more like thematic sense, is how does human pride and debris eventually bites the owner, the person of how that affects you. How you think you can make everything and actually you can. In this case, the above story is apocalypse, but in South America. How does affect apocalypse another kind of country where maybe weapons aren't very available, where there are another kind of geography, and especially how do you take in consideration the maritime elements. That's the above story. And the below story, the character-centric story is how do you stay sane? How do you keep your mental health? How do you take therapy? How do you take medication during the post-apocalypse?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I know my short version for American listeners who are or well, I hate saying American. For United States listeners, South America is also America. Central America is the whole. There are two continents that are America. It's not United States. I'm trying to break myself at it, but United Statesian doesn't sound right. For
Mhm.
citizens of the United States, it's kind of like Walking Dead in Peru.
I mean,
Um,
yes, yes, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Walking
yeah,
Dead in
yeah,
That's
Peru.
how it feels being in Peru in the end of the war, really.
right, right. And I appreciate it because it gives. I mean, this is something I talk about a lot from a lot of the things that I read for 22 panels. I love stories where I can relate to characters even as I'm learning a different culture, a different place, a different life. Um, and like there's so much that's the same from a human standpoint in terms of how they build each other's trust, in terms of, you know, weighing their humanity versus their need to survive. Um, but at the same time, and it even gets called out a little bit. "Oh, we found all of these bullets, but no guns. If only we were in America, they'd probably be on every street corner," which, yes, unfortunately. I don't have any. I I am not a gun-toting American. So somebody has
Why not?
five to make up for the fact that I don't have any. Um, but so seeing the human aspect, but in this way that's just slightly tweaked from my perspective, but not at all unbelievable because it's not unbelievable. You're working from your own perspective. This is what a zombie apocalypse would look like if you had the cities of Peru rather than the cities of the US to fall back on for your goods. Um, so I appreciate like both the fantastic storytelling, but the differing perspective and the knowledge that like I can tell that that you're writing for an international audience because there's just that little bit here or there to instruct them, oh, I can't find my medicine because we traded all of our medicine for the minerals that we let them mine from our ground.
Make more guns to defend themselves.
Right. Uh, yeah. So, what inspired the story and like how did the two of you come together? And eventually, Alberto, I'm gonna have to ask you, you look like you're in a museum. So I'm gonna have to ask you about that at some point, but not right away. Just like be prepared for later to translate that thing right behind you. Or maybe it's just a
Yeah, where?
cafe. It's just a cafe,
A
but
very nice cafe.
looking at yeah, but you've got all of the artwork behind you, and on the wall right next to that is like a write-up the way it would be if you were in a museum. So,
This is Caracoles de Jardín. She's a Peruvian artist, very good. She makes a lot of comics, and I love them. I just realized this
okay.
is the art of a friend.
All righty, all right.
Yeah. In Peru, we use a lot of coffees to write and to make meetings and blah blah blah. Because well, we don't have a lot of peace in our homes. Maybe no, it depends on the person, but mostly is that way. By the way, yeah,
I'm
how
all
it,
for more coffee shops, particularly
well,
ones not named Starbucks.
yeah, Starbucks is
Is it even
also
really coffee?
in Peru. They
No, I
are
meant
here,
is
and the coffee is
Starbucks
not
even
really
really
good.
coffee?
This is Peruvian coffee, and it's actually really good.
Yes, that's what I'm
Yeah, the
saying.
Peruvian coffee is really good, and it's
I
very
believe
strong.
it.
It's like
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, Uh,
I'm a coffee snob. I mean, I can only imagine that it's better if it's local rather than having to be shipped. But I know my Peruvian coffee. I like Peruvian coffee. But I imagine I'd like it even better if it hadn't been on a container ship for a month before I got it.
well, I said maybe I said when you can come to Peru, I said we make
I'll
the
look into it.
coordination and you can drink.
Yeah, you can introduce me to all the best coffee shops. And I am the nerd that would be like half of what I wanted to see. It'd be like, okay, first take me to the comic shops, then take me to the coffee shops, then take me to the music stores. And oh, wait, do you have other things? Okay, let's go look at them now.
Well,
No,
it's,
no. I just wanted to mention there are like two comic shops here.
yeah, there are too many comic shops here. But as a
That's
coffee
okay.
shops, there's a lot of
Bookstores are
coffee shops.
equally good.
Oh yes,
Okay,
there are plenty big stores.
yeah,
So, but we got off topic. Where
yeah, we
where
gotta stop it.
where did the idea come from? How did Carlos? How did you hook up with Alberto? How did everybody get connected with Aces? Tell me about your artist. I mean, this is one of the times where like I know very little about anybody involved. So right now I'm very much at the introduce yourself, tell me stuff, and maybe I'll come up with better questions after that.
Okay, so well, how I know Alberto? I know Alberto since 2018, 2019, because I had a virtual store, a virtual as a comic store, and Alberto as a publish as a that saying around as a that years on as a heavy metal as a he made a short comic,
Okay.
and as a we start as a making contact as a since there, but it was on as a February of as a 2023 when when Alberto make a funny tweet about like I'm going to edit a sewing comic for free for the first person that answered this tweet, and I answered him as a joke. Okay, and I saying him my idea, and since there were like a roller coaster like David Lloyd came to Peru on January. No, on May of the same year, 2023, we make contact, we propose the pitch, and then we exchange mails, and we were on a pitch process for like a year. Because we were like perfecting this idea, this proposal since May of 2023 until January of 2024. Like was a lot of working, a lot of thinking how we can making better, how we can make all the changes that Lloyd wants, all the recommendations that also Lloyd want us to make this. And in the process we finish making like a one shot, like a consist one shot that that is that is like a declaration of intentions. It's like my presentation is like putting me on the map, and putting also Michelle on the map. And with that we like have this one shot approved by Lloyd, and then start the writing process. That was a very hard one process. But well, Rayo could talk about more about that really.
All right. So exactly the process was. And as you mentioned, we started pitching it to you can hear me, all right?
Yeah,
I hear you.
yeah, we
Yes.
hear you.
Yes, yes. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I sometimes fall down rabbit holes and look like I'm looking off in the other direction because I am. I'm listening and Googling at the same time.
Yeah,
No, no, don't worry. Okay,
yeah.
so
So keep going. We know.
the process started with a pitching process. Well, and the core concept of the comic was zombies meets pirates or zombies in seafarer in with boats, the action happening around the coast, around piers, and that all that song. So the story was a bit bigger, and as this is Carlos writing uh, for the first time comics, mentioned that it should be a simpler, straightforward story.
Yeah,
So we reduced the stakes a bit. We made it a bit more, well, not a bit more, a lot more emotional. And the the focus on the mental health was even, no, became bigger actually. And there was a focus on mental state before being broken. And this time it was more about how do you keep yourself suited? How do you keep yourself, not sane, but uh, in a good place mentally? How do you keep remain true to yourself? And that's what follows the story. And there was the other characters that moved the plot forward. So yeah, around my work, I was more of a story script consultant, kind of editor, and a storyteller. No, I gave feedback on the storytelling, on the graphic storytelling, because in sometimes
what I can
editing
relate.
managers, students, a lot of stuff. The project manager for this project was Carlos. He started the designer, so that was all of him. He also made a very good job promoting the comic. I'm actually very impressed, and I'm happy that the comic is being talked off right now.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I've been impressed by his
Yes, that's mostly
promotion
how
efforts
it
as
started.
well.
Well, thank you so much. Well,
Making me feel very inept at the whole promoting thing is like you're on top of everything. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, we are talking tomorrow.
well, I say, well, the thing is that este, even that I don't very like too much being on socials, I was working on socials all my life.
Okay.
With my virtual store and coordinating things, searching emails, stalking people. Entonces, so, so I made myself the task of I have to make that everyone knows Ace Weekly. It's
Right.
because everyone should know Ace Weekly.
No, I mean
It's
just
made by
to
David Lloyd.
give
You buy Ace Weekly
yes,
now to cry. That
David
is my
Lloyd,
main goal.
but like this volume of Aces Weekly has a story called Mr. Custa, Dead Again, You're Before We Sail, Sicaros, Drell Marauder, The Whale House, and Lazarus, and I flipped through all of them and read yours, and like know that I will not be canceling my Aces Weekly subscription when you guys are done because it's like, oh wow,
Yeah, there's
$10
a lot
every
of
roughly
quality.
2 months for 7 or 6 different stories. Um, and like curated by David Lloyd. Yes, please.
Exactly.
You know? And clearly I mean that's the other thing. Like just glancing through and I haven't dug in to get to know who everybody is, but you know, it would be so easy for David Lloyd to be doing just his friends or just British cartoonists or whatever. And it seems like we're getting pretty much around the world.
Exactly. We have
Um,
Sicarios, that is an Chilean team. We have
right,
the team from Uruguay. We have team from Argentina. We have team from UK, also France. So,
right,
David Lloyd in their conventions, in the places he goes, he is like a curator, as you said,
right,
and he's like, "Hey, you have fire, make comics," and I like, "Well, we have to make
right,
comics."
right.
Yeah.
No, and like, and this is where, it's great hearing Alberto talk. And Alberto, I've also discovered your blog and started flipping through it. That's what, even though it's old, you haven't updated it since 2018, but I now want to find this
The
what
comic
the mystery
analysis
of that
blog.
seed. What?
The comic analysis blog I have, you mean?
Rayon in the
Or
bottle.
which? Yeah, yeah. That's an old blog. Oh my God.
It is an old
Yeah.
blog,
Yes,
but I'm enjoying reading it. I've gotten to know editors as I mean, Shelley Bond came back just last week, and
Wow.
listening, yeah, listening to editors talk about how they bring stories together, how they curate, how they find things, is cool. And I mean, again, I don't know who David is marketing to, so I don't want it to come off as anything bad, but like, when I look at Aces Weekly and go, oh wow, this person that I only knew as a talented artist has been, and I actually know a fair amount of his stuff outside of just, oh, he did V for Vendetta, which, I mean, great book, but he did
I,
other work too.
yeah. He make have laser, a lot of work in 2000 AD. He make a comic of also aliens, and
Yep.
yeah.
Well,
And by
and
the way,
actually, more and more, I'm starting to realize that because I've gotten to know Eddie Campbell some because he's in Chicago as well, and he puts out books of like comic strip history and not like strictly like the funny pages comic strips, but like before they had pictures in the newspapers, they used comics for everything. The big fight was coming up. Somebody would draw a comic strip to tell you about the fight coming up or tell you about the fight that just happened. Or, Winsor McKay had Little Nemo, but he also had a lot of front page images that were
on the
for
newspaper.
whatever was being featured in the newspaper.
Oh, wow.
Because
If you
they
can
weren't putting
send me
photographs.
a picture of that, I want to see that.
Yeah. Well, I'll send you a link for there was a Billy Ireland Cartoon Museum at the Ohio State University, did a great exhibit that they made an online thing as well. Um, there was a guy named Bill Blackbeard who, when um, everything was being transferred to microfilm at libraries in the United States. Um, he was the one that went, oh, this is going to be terrible for comics because as soon as they put them on black and white microfilm, we're going to lose the color stuff forever. So he put together a team and they went around to as many libraries as they could get to collect the comics after they'd scanned them. And he like filled his condo in San Francisco, like top to bottom, with collections of comic strips,
Wow.
um, until eventually he lost his lease and he wanted them all to go somewhere. And they wound up taking them at Ohio State, the Billy Ireland Museum, eight semi trucks, eight semi trucks full of
Wow.
cartoons.
That's a lot of comics.
They are still cataloging them all.
Wow.
I'm dropping. They put together a digital exhibit a while ago. I'm going to drop the link in the chat if you guys want to look at it, because
Yeah,
Caitlin McGurk did a really great job of putting it together, and it's got some of those early strips, but it's also got like front page stuff and sports stuff. But all of this is my long way of going that it seems like anybody Alan Moore works with is like a serious comics historian and or spread the gospel type. And like I should just go through and go, oh, Alan Moore worked with him. So what book has he written and or what thing does he curate?
yeah. In a way, we love comics and we love
Right,
the art,
right,
not the media, not the pop culture.
right.
We love the art, and
The
that's
art. Well, I say the medium as in like the medium, like prose is a medium and film is a medium, you know, uh, because particularly in the United States, we often have to fight with the people who think of comics as superheroes. It's like,
exactly.
yes, and
Yes, and a lot of things more.
superheroes are a genre, comics are a medium.
Yeah, and also like it's like in a comic, it can express a lot more. It can expand things as a higher, as a bigger. Like as a, for example, when the franchise comes to comics, they make their best stories. Like the best Transformers story is the one by James Roberts. That is of the comics of
Yep.
I do SWG as the comics of the beginnings of the 2010s and also as the booms as the Power Rangers, and I could say a lot more of as a franchise that when they come as the comics they take very seriously of on taking a good story, like it's the best.
Well, I mean,
Well,
go ahead, Alberto.
I don't think that means it's the best. I just think, well, for Hollywood to actually produce something, to adapt something, they are always in favor of work before than something new. So there's at least they prefer to have at, at least the name of a good comic book, good comic book that has been published and has like this cult following, and actually change and tweak the story than actually make a new story. For example, Captain America Civil War makes it's not like the original comic, but it has the name.
Either one
So
of them.
it's
There were two Civil Wars to choose from, and
Yeah, yeah, but I was referring in the opposite ways that the movie that for the movie is a comic, or for the franchise, for the series, for the toys, there's a comic. Like for example, the Transformers. The Transformers is a toy
Transformers was
franchise, is a
first,
series
right?
franchise, and then there's a comic. But the comic is better.
What I
um,
will say,
it's a comic.
yeah, what I'll say about the comics medium is it has the least limitations.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
it's
it,
a bit more risky.
yeah.
Exactly.
And it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that you can't make mediocre comics or bad comics or whatever, but like there's no story that you can't tell if you're dedicated enough to figure out how to tell it. You know,
Yeah.
whether I don't know. I've been going through David Mazzucchelli's early Daredevil work lately for something that I'm working on,
A good one.
I mean, he's known for Asterios Polyp, and he's known
Asterios
for
Polyp
City
is
of
so
Glass.
good.
Oh no, they're amazing. They're amazing. They're amazing. I'm not trying to. City of Glass is amazing. Born Again and Batman Year One are amazing, but like even in his first couple of issues of Daredevil, which are like his first couple of published works, you can see that you've got an artist just working on a different level. He uses panel structure in a different way. He uses lighting in a different and better way. He takes that martial arts aspect of Daredevil and shows you that martial arts is as much dance as it is bruising. Suddenly Daredevil's not the boxer. He's dancing. And knocking people down. So that's something that, I mean, you can sometimes accomplish that in a movie. I mean, I've heard people compare John Wick to like a, a musical with guns, right? Where it's more this long
That's
dance
accurate.
sequences than
Yeah,
That's
that's very good.
accurate about it.
um but there's no other medium that both you collaborate as much with your reader, because your reader's filling in the gutters, your reader's deciding the pacing. But
Exactly.
also because of that, you have to figure out how to manipulate your reader. If you want to slow something down, you have to find the way to make them slow down. If you want to speed something up, you have to find the way to make them fly through it, or at least make them feel like they're flying through it, even if they're sitting and anything I'm saying makes sense.
No, yeah, yeah. It's making sense because,
It
well,
totally makes sense.
the comic is a 50-50 work,
Mhm.
and also reading them takes a lot of energy because you take the pacing you have to move through that, and
Right,
also it's a collaborative work between the team and the reader. And
right.
also, for example, before we sail, I I try to make that each chapter feel like a music as a genre.
Yeah,
And I feel like I only accomplished that in the sixth and the seventh chapter, because the sixth is the chapter for me is a free jazz, and the seventh chapter is a post rock. It's like it's a cosmic you black emperor. It's like a
okay.
long violin, with the guitars and the landscape.
Okay.
So the reading, the pacing, the beats is a very important thing in the comics as a making. And also, well, I as a myself, when I read comics, I have to have energy. It's because if I don't have energy, I don't read the comics well. I like following, but not in the way that the comics want me to follow it in a way.
Yeah. Mhm. I mean I teach as well. I teach high school, and when I've got students who are complaining about this or that book that they're reading, one of the things that I'll always bring up, I mean, aside from trying to ask the challenging questions to get them to engage further, particularly if they're like beat themselves up when they're suddenly engaged and like, why didn't I see this earlier? I'm like, well, were you tired when you were reading? Were you stressed out? You're the final collaborator. These things matter.
Exactly.
Sometimes you read something and you don't like it because of you, not because it wasn't good. You'll read it again a year later and go, how did I think that this was bad?
Exactly. In a way, I try to separate my likes from my concept of criticism of journalism, and
Mhm.
in that way I could also enjoy comics better. Well,
S-
I like comic journalism, so that's also
So,
one point.
yeah, that I do as well. So for this next part, I'm going to ask you if you're
Ah,
willing to go ahead.
well, before you go to the next part, I want to
Yeah,
say that if you still keep contact with Shelly, well, tell him things from my part, because things to her book about editing, este,
You know,
thanks to that
I'm
book.
literally gonna have to send her this recording because when I was talking to her and I told her that her editing book was now mentioned to me as much or more than Scott McCloud's Understanding Comics, she didn't believe me. And now I can say, no, I was talking to a guy in Peru, and when I dropped your name, he immediately went, her book on editing.
Yeah, exactly.
She's very humble.
Yeah. She is a master, because
She is. She
este,
is.
checking
Um,
that book, I could design my first pitching. And
yeah,
thanks to that, Lloyd accept that. And well, we were
right.
like a year pitching and everything like that. But thanks to that and to that comic that she made, I could get with contact with Lloyd. So
That's
tell her that
fantastic.
very
I
thank you
will.
to her, and that I'm
I
waiting for her final book on the trilogy because I
yep,
am ready to Kickstarter that
yep.
comic. Yeah.
It's about to start shipping very soon.
Oh well.
She's got her final galley copy of it. I think she just approved her. So that there were some unexpected hiccups, but it's finally done and coming soon. Um, Yeah. Yeah, I know you're not the only one excited about that. I know I'm excited about that. And for that matter, she did an Inktober with I forget which artist, but at her website right now,
Yeah.
off Register Comics, there's a 31 page Inktober thing where she just came up with like the distilled, 31 keys to making your own book.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah. I remember that. She.
so it's like the cheat sheet version. I mean, reading everything is good, but sometimes it's good to have like that smaller. I mean, it's the name of this book, 22 or the name of this podcast, 22 panels is after Wally Wood's 22 panels that always work. That Larry Hama put up in the Marvel bullpen, and he's like, "You having trouble? Pick one, move on."
Yeah. Oh wow.
I actually have that on near to my desk, those 22 panels and a writer because it's important to have that to think of the artist. Don't let him resolve everything. Sometimes you have to tell them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rayo send me that 22 partners, and I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
to
yeah.
check
I
that.
have multiple versions of it, and every once in a while, I'll take a comic that I love and find the 22 panels. Like my wife
Oh,
put together for us a graphic that's the 22 panels that always work, strictly from Four Kids Walk Into a Bank by Matthew Rosenberg and Tyler Boss. We found all
that
22 of
comic.
them.
That comic is really good.
It
That
is.
comic put Matthew on the map. And also, not so many people talk that thanks to Black Mask Studios, a lot of like a wave on the mid 20s,
Yeah,
no, in the mid 10s, start like like appearing, like Zach
yeah,
Thompson, Lonnie Ladner, Vita Ayala, Lee
yep,
Williams, like all of
yep,
them are
yep.
thanks to Black Mass Studios.
That's another one of those I can't remember the owner of Black Mask right now, but
I don't know.
he's another one of those guys that's big on finding talent. Um and Shelley Bond is too. She talks about she will like scour Instagram just looking for comic creators that she likes. And that's the here. I'll share my screen really quick so you guys can see the cover. Um, what I was talking about was A to Zine, 31 tips for making comics by Shelley Bond and art by Lid.
Yeah.
So if you want the I think this is priced at I think it's a more reasonable or well all of them are reasonably priced. I can't convince Shelley to raise her prices. But yeah, $10 for A to Zine.
Yeah.
31
Nice
pages
price,
of
actually.
tips on making your comic. Exactly. So, but yeah, Black Mask. I feel like I pulled up Black Mask Studios really quick. Oh, I forgot that they did Gangster Ass Barista. At least the production. Uh, I feel like it's Palazzo. Does that sound right? Because it's somebody that does a decent amount of the writing for them too.
I don't
Um,
remember exactly what. Well,
yeah,
it's the people, it's a check, it's a Black Mask Comics.
yeah, Black Max Studio stack. Worth looking out. The only knock I have on them whatsoever is they sometimes fall behind on their shipping, but that's kind of one of the things that's just they're small and it's hard to stay on schedule when like you sometimes have to wait for the money from the last comic to come in before you can start printing the next comic.
Exactly. Yeah, that
You
is
know.
hard as when
Um,
you start. Uh,
yeah, but they've brought a lot of fantastic and subversive comics over the last few years. I am a big fan of Black Mask Studios.
yeah.
Um,
And
so
also
what?
that that in Black Mask comics in the very start, I think that it was 2011, when they made the three issues of Occupy. Alan Moore made like an essay about
Yeah.
how the comics are for the working class and
Hmm.
for the subvertive ideas. And I was like, yeah, this is
How
right.
Yeah.
how they were for the working class, most likely.
Yeah.
Well,
That
we
was
are
his
trying
essay.
right now to make that now for the working class, because Ace Weekly could be read anywhere in the world. So if you have a phone, if you have a computer, if you have a television, you can read Ace Weekly there,
Yes,
That's true.
wherever
exactly.
in the country you
Everyone
are.
can read it.
Yeah, we are receiving opinions from Peru, from USA, from UK, from France, from Spain, from Argentina. People, please read AC Weekly.
Australia. I'm going to throw out Australia just because I know
Australia
we have
too.
some listenership in Australia because one of the members of our Love and Rockets book club is an El Salvadoran refugee living in Australia. I guess she's not really a refugee anymore. She was a refugee in the early 80s and she's been an Australian citizen for a while.
Wow. But well, it also can be read in Australia.
Yes.
Yes.
I know. I'm just thinking of places that I know I actually have listeners. And I am kind of pleased when I look at maps that say where we're downloaded, that we've been downloaded in a lot of places, even if not by as many people as I like would love to see someday. Though I will say hi to my mom now and my brother Adam and my friends John and Britt. They're really good at listening to almost every episode. So hi guys.
Hi.
Um, where I was going though, and I was going to ask you, just because I am going to guess that the two of you are going to have more comics than most people do, that are part of your personal biographies that I don't know off the top of my head. As much as you can you type them into the chat so I can copy them? Because like I do actually like to go read anything that inspires people. Um, and what I wanted to ask for right now is essentially what's your comics biography? What not your bibliography, not the work that you've done, but like when you were a kid, what was that comic that you loved? What comic do you remember buying for yourself? What comic was the one that went, "Oh, this is so amazing. I want to do this." What comic made you look at the world differently? That sort of thing. Talk to me about the comics that have shaped you as a person.
Okay, we'll start.
Oh, okay. I do. That have you read in my blog? There's a cartoonist called Mako. She's from Uruguay. Uruguay. And she's a cartoonist. She makes a lot of panel play and a lot of uh, tricks in how to read it. She plays with the storytelling, she plays with the time, she plays with the space. At this point, and that was 15 years ago, to this day, I don't think there's anyone doing doing it like she did. She stopped doing that already because she already moved on from that. And I don't think anyone on the business has worked like that. There are three names I associate with her. Is Winsor McKay, is Chris Ware, and is Tim Sale. Tim Sale just in one book, which is Challengers of the Unknown. If you have read that book, you will don't think that his other books are good, because Challengers of the Unknown by him and Loeb, I think, it's excellent. It's another level of cartoon of comic making uh, that DC or Marvel haven't even played since like that in about 30 years. Um, who is making it like her? Like maybe David Aja a bit, maybe Javier Rodriguez a bit, but she made a lot of things that you can't or you don't do with comics. Um, that's only possible in comics. A lot of people say, "Oh, comics is a very cinematic medium, and you can do stuff like." Yes, they do stuff like you can make in movies. Like the ideas that a lot of people have that are supposedly so groundbreaking uh, are not that hard to adapt. But the stuff that she did, it's impossible to adapt. I don't think you can even make it with animation. So yeah, Mako from Uruguay. I started reading her in 2011. I was 16, and blew my mind and made me want to do comics like her.
It looks fantastic, and I did not know it before, so I am all over this. I just have to
You can find her on
find it
Instagram as Makonuda, and the blog where she posts her work at the moment is Dividido Mako,
okay.
Dividido, as divided, but Dividido Mako. And look her work from the 2011 2012 what she's playing right now. She's just like making cartoons and more like face-to-face comics, like talking
Right,
editorial, but
right.
it's still very good, I think.
Yeah. No, I mean, even, yeah, no, I can, even without getting all the way back, I'm just on the first page. I can see parts of what you're talking
Can
about.
you show it?
And
Maybe so
yeah, I can
people.
show it to you. Well, but we're only putting the audio up. They won't see
Yeah,
this.
it
This
will
is
be a
for
podcast.
us. I'm just an we don't want people to see our faces yet. We're debating it for issue or for episode 1000. We're in the 650s now. When we get to 1000, maybe we'll do like a YouTube live stream. But right now we're audio only. But
Well,
but yeah.
you can believe me that when I say that her comics are amazing. For me,
No, yeah.
yeah,
I
look, yeah, that stuff looks good
that's
to
what I was
you
gonna
because
do.
for me that's like
2000
that's not even close to what was
just
she
not.
doing like 10
Oof.
years ago.
Okay. No.
Ah, that's her book. I love that book. That's the one that I had to
Aloha.
ship from Uruguay to Peru.
Okay.
Lovely, lovely book. It's like a dream. It's a dream of a book.
I'm in. I'm in. I will be.
Now
Yeah,
that I
okay.
have to buy a comic from Uruguay. I have to
Yeah,
make the
it wouldn't be the first time that I
Oh,
bought something from not from Uruguay, but from far away. And for that matter, it wouldn't even be the first time. I mean, at least the part that she's
I,
showing here is wordless, but it wouldn't be the first time that I bought a comic that I couldn't read and either used Google Translate or found somebody who knew the language to help me out.
oh, that the she's very close friend with Matias Vergara, which made Coda, made a lot of good comic books, I think, with Cy Spurrier.
Okay.
Yeah. If I'm well, yeah,
I think he's probably the top 5 comic artists right now.
Okay. Yeah. I know Bagara. All righty. Proving once again that comics are a wonderful worldwide thing. I love finding comics from all over the world. That was actually, I'm going to say right now, the thing that excited me the most, Carlos, when you emailed me, is I went, "Ooh, we haven't talked to a South American creator yet."
well, now we
You
are open
know,
the
so
map.
it's like I'm on board right there because it's something new and different. Um, so yeah. I'm sorry, I fell down a rabbit hole again because
No,
that's what
Don't
happens
worry,
that's
when you
don't.
perfect. Let's talk about
show
that.
me cool things to look at.
Well,
Some of my listeners give me a hard time for falling down the rabbit hole and like whatnot, and I've also had other listeners go, "I like it when like there's silence because we know you're thinking."
exactly. That's good.
So, all right, Carlos, tell me about your comics
Well,
journey.
well, in my case, sadly, it's a bit, it's a mainstream.
It's
I
okay.
like, yeah, I start, reading Iron Man of, of the Fraction era.
Okay.
That is so good. That room is the Iron Man room.
I love me some Matt Fraction,
Yeah,
Salvador LaRocca,
I'm La Rock.
LaRocca.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. It's a top tier run.
there are much worse books to be your kickoff.
But well, then if I have to summarize one of my main este, people that I read, and I said, wow, comics are the art, I have to say that Grant Morrison are one. Also, obviously, Grant Morrison.
Do you have a
Also,
favorite Morrison?
a favorite Morrison. I
Are
don't
you more
know
of
if
a
I
Morrison
have one.
Superman guy, or more of a Morrison superhero guy, or more of a Morrison weird stuff guy?
Well, I could say that it's a more of a weird guy. It's because I love the Invincibles. I
Okay.
that book was like I read it.
Speaking of the Invincibles, I want to say, and let me make certain I get this right. Keep
Go.
talking.
Yeah,
Keep
okay.
keep talking
Okay.
while I check this.
Well, and also one of my main influences are Alex Scott. Alex Scott appeared like a rocket on the USA
Who is
map.
this? What was
Alex Scott.
Alice Scott?
No, Alex, con S, Scott, con K.
Oh. Yes.
Alex
Okay.
Scott.
From
Alice
Wolves,
Yeah,
Scott.
from
Yeah.
Theorem,
Check writer.
from
Yeah.
Secret Avengers.
yeah. Well, Alex Scott came as like a rocket on 2011, and he made Wild Children, and he published it on Image, and other people was like, who is this man? And then well, I basically read all of Alex Scott comics as a big shout out to Alex Scott. And well, another person that I could say that is wow, will be Mazzucchelli for
Oh,
as you say, Asterios Polyp. Uh, Asterios Polyp for me is one of the best comics, and well, it's like like it can treat all the human elements, all the psychological elements as a, without being a psychological as a comic, and it's very good in doing that.
So what Joe Illidge, the first time he was on, um, and frankly, every time he's ever been on, we've fallen down a Mazzucchelli rabbit hole for a little bit. But the first time he was on, what he said about Mazzucchelli was he pops up every 10 years with something absolutely brilliant, drops the mic, and goes away again.
Exactly.
But
He's
where I was going quickly before I forget with the Invisibles, not right out of the gate, but before long, that was edited by Miss Shelley Bond.
exactly
Yes.
from since volume 2, I think.
Something
Since
like
volume
that.
2.
I know by issue 25 she was editing because that's the one that I just pulled up. But I know it was Stuart Moore for issue 1. So I skipped to issue 25 because I know I've heard her talk about editing it. So I knew that somewhere in there she took over.
Yeah. And well,
She's a big fan of Grant's.
And as a coming back as a to Mazzucchelli, it's like as a Kendrick as a Lamarck, as a he doesn't have socials, as a he doesn't interact a lot, as a he appears
He's one of my white whales to have on this
make
program.
comic and disappear.
Yeah. He's one of the white whales I have to be on this program. And at this point, I know a couple of people who know him, but I'm not quite brave enough to say, hey, can you beg for me? Because
Wow.
actually he just if you haven't read it, he did an adaptation of City of Glass,
Yeah, he
which is
made
a
that.
really right, but the New York trilogy, the whole thing. Why can't I remember the Paul Astor's New York trilogy? Actually, all of it has been adapted to comics, so you can now get a hardcover that has Mazzucchelli's City of Glass, um, who of course I'm looking at the wrong spots.
Yeah, but he only took one of the trilogy.
Yeah,
and well,
he did
check that. I didn't.
He did City of Glass, but then Paul Karasik did The Locked Room, and Lorenzo Matati, who does a lot of stuff for the New Yorker, did Ghosts. And Karasik did the art direction for all of it. In fact, if you read your introduction to City of Glass, Karasik had been involved with City of Glass as well. He kind of helped Mazzucchelli unlock some of the elements that let him roll from there. So, yeah, I had Karasik on recently to talk about the whole thing, and it's just amazing. I mean, I was looking at it this morning as I was preparing I'm doing a little bit of writing on Mazzucchelli, so it's like, and he's so hard to write about because he's so visual that it's like, what words are the right words to tell you to go read David Mazzucchelli?
Yeah, o sea,
other than go read David Mazzucchelli.
exactly. Like with Asterios Polyp, it's the way he make all these as a persons, as a why, no, as a by day, as a formation, and as a day, no, and as a he put it on a different as a way of art, and it's like there's wow, what the
Yeah,
so good.
I mean,
All
if
right.
you want to trace Mazzucchelli's roots, you have to read Alex Todd.
Yeah.
Yes, that's before Mazzucchelli. Mazzucchelli, like, he didn't invite him, but he was heavily inspired from him.
Yeah.
Alex
Oh,
Todd.
absolutely. Alex Toth. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So my favorite final question I like to ask is, tell me something that you love, preferably a comic, but it doesn't have to be, preferably storytelling, but it doesn't have to be. But something that you love that not enough other people, particularly around you, have experienced, and you want them to because you need more people to talk about it with.
Uh, wow, I don't know really what to say.
You're allowed to give me more than
Uh,
one answer.
the Jakarta Method, which is a history policing book, which is about how the CIA has impacted a lot of not South America, South Asian countries. And
So
there's this
what's
book,
the name of the
the
book again?
Politics and History, 20th century history. And there's this Argentinian book, which is from the novelist called Paula Olocharak, which is called La Teorías Salvajes, or the Savage Theory, which is a fantastic book about several characters, like a philosopher, an investigator, two bloggers, all being involved by that theory, a philosophical theory, which is the MacGuffin of the story. It's a philosophical theory, and they are like they are not good, driven crazy, but they are like obsessed a bit about that, and it's very funny. And for me, it's like this. Do you heard of Roberto Bolaño, Chilean writer? Very funny, very interesting, very political. This writer, I don't, Paula, she's a bit of a right wing artist. Oh, let me write it. Yes. What do I do? I do write. What do I write? Oh yeah. Las teorías salvajes. I don't know why do say it as if I will speak English. Las teorías salvajes. Fantastic book, which is translated to English. It's she makes comics, I think. No, she doesn't make comics. But there are an Argentinian writer called Mariana Enriquez who has some of her short stories, horror short stories, adapted to comics, and they are fantastic.
Oh, that sounds good too. Yeah, write any and all of this down because,
And the Jakarta
again,
Method.
I will find stuff.
Method. I forgot who's the writer of that one, but I recommend it a lot.
Okay, and I have to say something
Okay.
that more people should take more looking at. I could say, Watch Me from Alberto Rayo.
Watch Me?
That's a little
Yeah.
short story I made. It's my answer to Watchmen.
It's a short comic
I like that.
Rayo passed me on 2020, I think. And I read that and I think, oh, this is really good. And they were like, what the fuck? Like, well, okay. So with the joke, that
Wait a
is
minute. Is
not
it
a
coming
joke.
up on a Zoop campaign? Alberto?
Oh, no, that's over. That never happened.
Okay. It just when I clicked on it, it said get notified when it launches. So I'm like, wait a minute.
Maybe I will someday, but not right now. But yes, it's
Yeah.
it's a one shot about a sci-fi response to Watchmen. I'm mostly irritated
That
about
sounds great.
how it has affected a lot of people. How look, biting Moore is not biting Moore. Biting Moore is being Geoff Johns. He has ruined it for everyone. You can no longer homage Moore, because as soon as you homage Moore, you are being Geoff Johns.
And now DC will never commission any work. But well, that's true, really. That's true. Yeah, there's a lot of Watchmen's answers, and for me, one of the best answer are the one of Kieron Gilly. quieren Gillen, Peter, Thunderbolt, because he says, es, we made Watchmen 30 years ago. We don't have to make more Watchmen. We have to stop now. We have to communicate something more.
Stop.
Yeah, it's done. No more, please.
You don't have to convince me. I mean,
That, I need to leave, but I will leave you around with Carlos. Carlos, please continue with the interview. That it was a pleasure. I need to run off.
We were coming near wrap up anyway. So Alberto, so wonderful to have you. I'd love to have you back at some point, because as I fell down the rabbit hole, I realized that you've done much more work than I realized. So it would be cool to talk at some point. So have a good one. And Carlos, the story is great.
Wow, thank you so much.
Vastly enjoyed it. I can't recommend Aces enough to anybody, but particularly this volume. Go pick it up at least to read. God, this is Before We Sail. I even have it right in front of me.
Yeah, before we sail. It's a one shot. It's a tale on 7 parts.
Right.
That is right now on the volume 75. You can go to weekly.
If you buy volume 75 for $10 US, you will get all of Before We Sail, and 5 other stories. So the Before We Sail alone is totally worth $10. It has been a pleasure for Alberto Rayo and Carlos Yacolca. This has been 22 Panels, and we will see you after the next page.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And say, Charlie, about